truly, Ben Shapiro, you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world.
This brother is not in the top 200 of online videos. I've never seen him in a ranking. Maybe his podcast is okay. I don't know if he's got any viewers left at all there or listeners. But in video, Daily Wire's a ghost. It's like a shade above Mark Levin.
Following years of tension with former hosts and dwindling viewership, Ben Shapiro's The Daily Wire has taken enough of a beating that the company announced that they would be laying off workers. Now, we don't know the exact number of people who've been laid off, but it seems like it's quite a bit, and we'll get into the details in just a minute. But first, Cenk.
So I run a digital media company, so I have a lot of sympathy for the people who got laid off today, and it is a tough industry. But I'm gonna tell you what actually happened. Anna's gonna give you the facts, and I'm gonna give you the context for how you judge those facts and why they're in the disastrous shape that they're in. Anna.
So the announcement about the layoffs took place last Friday, and the Daily Wire announced these layoffs would take place across a number of teams at the company. Now it's again unclear how many employees were fired, but according to Candace Owens, who used to work at the Daily Wire and was fired herself not too long ago, says that it was a lot. So she claims that she's hearing that it's more like 60% of their workers were let go. Absolute bloodbath. Now, the Daily Wire's editor-in-chief, Brent Schur, disputed that and basically refused to say exactly how many people were laid off. Now, keep in mind that this comes after the company's round of layoffs last year in March. So the real question is why? Why did they let go of workers? Why did they announce these layoffs? Well, according to the Daily Wire's spokesperson, the cuts were largely concentrated at our Nashville production office. As the company has invested in new formats, locations, and production models, our footprint there has evolved. Over the last year, we have added production staff in DC, the Northeast, and Florida. This step allows us to focus on our resources on an ambitious slate of new entertainment projects set to release this year. Additionally, we will continue to invest in our editorial team and investigative journalism, where we have already added numerous new reporters across the country and established a DC bureau with a seat in the White House briefing room. Now, ironically, one of the first people to go public about these layoffs was their political reporter, Cameron Arcand, who's based in Washington, DC. So that kind of counters what we're hearing from the spokesperson. But nonetheless, Cameron wrote on X, "Hey friends, tough news to share. I was impacted by layoffs today at the Daily Wire, so I'm looking for opportunities in journalism/communications here in DC. Any suggestions are welcomed." I noticed that Brad Parscale, who used to work for the Trump administration and is now a registered foreign agent due to his propaganda work that he's doing on behalf of Israel, ended up responding to Cameron and said that he would be in touch. That's not good, but nonetheless, their viewership over at the Daily Wire has been suffering, to say the least. So channel analytics from vidIQ show Shapiro's YouTube channel attracting approximately 28 million views in the past 30 days, while shedding 20,000 subscribers in the same window. Independent trackers report monthly viewership reached approximately 170 million during the channel's late 2023 peak, a comparison that places the current decline at roughly 85%. And that viewership decline, by the way, started pretty soon after October 7th, but really ramped up after Candace Owens was fired for daring to call it genocide a genocide. And the subscriber impact became notable last year after Jeremy Boring stepped down from the company. So overall, the net loss of subscribers is at 20,000. Which is not good. And Ben Shapiro's channel, was based in the run-of-the-mill America First conservative agenda, but that all got challenged by the fact that Ben Shapiro, after October 7th, seemed to be preaching about things that weren't really America First and were Israel First. Here's Steve Bannon back in December talking about Ben Shapiro at a Turning Point USA event.
Let's face it, Ben Shapiro is the farthest thing from MAGA. Let's be blunt. He is a hardcore never-Trumper. He's a hardcore never-Trumper. When President Trump gets sent back to Mar-a-Lago, the very first individual that jumped on the Ron DeSantis train, the Israel First train, was Ben Shapiro. He's consistently been against Trump, and now that President Trump doesn't back the Greater Israel Project. What is Greater Israel? It's not about Israel itself. It's about an expansionist Israel, an imperial Israel that Netanyahu and that crowd have thought up. And the Israel First crowd is Ben Shapiro, Tel Aviv Mark Levin, and many others that want to put that ahead of America's interests.
I guess to be fair to Bannon, that was in December of 2025, about 3 months prior to Trump starting the war in Iran, which has been absolutely devastating for the United States and incredibly embarrassing. Trump is 100% Israel first. His actions prove it, and he is willing to hurt our own country for Israel, and he's proven that time and time again. Cenk.
Okay, so context here on the numbers, both the viewers and the financial numbers. So first of all, digital media is a brutal industry, very hard to make it in this. As an LA Times reporter once said to me, your competition is a graveyard. So in fact, another multi-channel network just basically went under last week. So I have great sympathy for people running digital media companies, and the layoffs are brutal and the toughest things in the world. So that's your context for, to be fair to them, it's not an easy business, okay? Now, let's look at the numbers and see, yes, but how did they do within the context of that business? Well, there's, for example, about 10 left-wing shows in the top 50 of YouTube shows, right? Including us. Then there's big right-wing shows too. Tucker Carlson, Sean Ryan, PBD are almost always in the top 20. So it's not like you can't make it if you're on the left or the right. There's plenty of both on both sides. Picture this, it's midnight, you're lying in bed, scrolling through Shop TYT, of course, excited to buy that new Dragon Squad snapback you've had your eye on, but your wallet's on the other side of the room. Then you see the purple Shop Pay button, which has your payment and shipping information saved and ready to go. That seamless checkout experience is thanks to Shopify. They're making it so easy to buy your next piece of TYT merch. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US, including ours. Shopify gives you that leg up on the competition with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates to express your brand's unique style. Tackle all those essential tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics, and expand your brand reach with built-in marketing and email tools. Super helpful. And I already mentioned that awesome purple Shop Pay button. It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. See fewer carts go abandoned and more sales go with their Shopify and their Shop Pay button. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/TYT. Go to shopify.com/TYT. That's shopify.com/TYT. Ben Shapiro hasn't appeared in a top 200 list, Daily Wire, in a long, long time. Top 200, he's not in it, okay? So he is microscopic compared to some of the other shows that you've heard of. Like here, let's pick a random one, David Pakman, right? Like David does a great show, wonderful, I like him. He's on the left, everybody always has some disagreements, no problem. But he's not like a giant, right? David Pakman is like now leagues bigger than Daily Wire. Now, let me go to the financial side to give you a sense of like, whoa, what is going on in the world, right? So they got $100 million investment pretty recently. And they did like these movies with it. And we had an internal conversation here, or the executives did. We're like, do they see something we don't see? How the hell are they gonna make money from those movies and enough to make up $100 million as all the movie industry's cratering? And they can't possibly get enough subscribers, they can't possibly get enough views to make up for this money. And it turns out they couldn't, it's not even close. But if you're pro-Israel, money flows like there's no end. It's like this mighty stream. For us, $100 million would be game-changing, life-changing, everything-changing. We could be the #1 digital network easily if we had $100 million. But no one will give us anywhere near that kind of money because we don't support Israel. And I'm not joking and I'm not exaggerating. This is stuff that happens behind the scenes. If you're not in favor of Israel, you're not getting money. You're just like, it is super difficult because it's not like there are no choices, but the choices are greatly reduced. And the people that are left care a lot about, hey, how do you make a profit and return on investment, etc. There's no donations, there's no nothing if you're not in favor of Israel. If you're in favor of Israel, $100 million, no problem. You know what their evaluation is, or was? $1 billion. Oh, come on. Then according to the viewership, we would be worth tens of billions of dollars. Are we? Brother, not even within planets of that. Not within planets of it, because we're not pro-Israel. This is insanity. More than half of our media is structured around whether you support that particular foreign country or not. And if you do, you get an ungodly sum of money that you could just burn by doing these nonsense projects that no one thought could work. And then you fire half your staff. And you get $1 billion valuation. I mean, when the Ellisons were buying Free Press, they said because Barry Weiss is pro-Israel that they would overpay, and they did by a factor of about 10x. What is this? This is insane. So don't worry, Ben. Your benefactors will pour more money into you, but they're a little aggrieved now because they paid for better propaganda than this, and you're not giving them the propaganda spread out far enough and effective enough that they bargained for. So they might have to pay someone else for propaganda going forward.
There's no amount of propaganda that would convince someone with a soul that they should support a country that commits mass slaughter just so they can expand their borders. We've all seen it on 4K over the last 2.5 years. It's not stopping. If Israel wants to improve their PR, just stop slaughtering innocent people. It's that simple, but they can't do it. They'd rather spend the money on trying to censor people, silence people, defame people, character assassinate people, and it's not working. And my final comment on this is, look, the decline of the Daily Wire really took off after Candace Owens was fired. And remember, she wasn't fired for some of the things that maybe we've been critical of her on this show. She was fired because she called a genocide. And when they did that to her, what that communicated to the audience that Ben Shapiro has grown over the years is that he's just like Dan Bongino. He's a fake, he's a phony. He built a career off of free speech. Facts don't care about your feelings. And it turned out that branding was complete and utter BS. He didn't mean it. When it came to Israel, no, feelings are everything. Facts don't matter. You need to shut your mouth. You need to support a genocide. And Candace Owens wasn't willing to do that. And she got fired as a result. Dan Bongino built a career off of talking about the Epstein files. Finds himself in a position of power to actually do something about the Epstein files. And what did he do? He reneged on his promise to the American people, to the people who supported him. And now his podcast's not doing so well, is it? Sorry.
Let me give you one piece of context. It comes from Candace Owens, and she's right about this. Graphic 10, she says those views, whatever little views that they have left, and every once in a while they'll pump up a video. Oh, look, we have 500,000 views on this video. She says those views are 100% purchases. He's been buying views for his main show, and you can tell by the comment ratio. And the fact that I know the person who bought ads per view at Daily Wire, I was wondering how long it was going to take for the bubble to burst. Now, to be fair to Daily Wire, this is a trick that a lot of digital media companies do. Another competitor of ours used to buy all their views, and then they would go to investors and go, give me another $1 billion because of all these views that I have. And in their metadata, they would put Young Turks, TYT, and Cenk Uygur so that people would watch their crap videos, okay? So there's a lot of scams that are run nonstop. And the investors are unfortunately so poorly informed that they will give to the scammers, they will give to the pro-Israel people, but you're running a real show like anyone in the top 50, right? Look, I talked to a lot of people in the top 50 and almost like a lot of them do not get any of that money because they're doing real shows that appeal to real people, and the powerful don't want that. They want you to do propaganda that is against the people and in their favor. So that's why they keep paying for propaganda that doesn't work and then goes bankrupt.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.